Hi guys, welcome back to the Soccer Kicks channel. Today we have the Mizuno Alpha II Made in Japan to go over, but before we do, just a quick note. If you want to stay up to date with the latest releases or you are a fan of my reviews, please be sure to subscribe and leave a like as it really helps the channel. Now let's get into the review. The first Mizuno Alpha was released towards the end of 2022 and it got a lot of positive attention. This feels like a long time, especially when other brands update their silos about every 18 months, but this is what I like about Mizuno. They take their time with updates and don't release 50 colorways so each generation feels significant even if the changes are minimal. As a personal preference, I always like to buy products that I know will be on the shelf for a while before I feel or need to update. It's like getting a pair of headphones that just came out. Every generation of that headphone won't have revolutionary updates, but you feel better about spending more when those updates are meaningful. The Alpha II Made in Japan released early this year for $320, and there are other cheaper versions you can get closer to $200. The synthetic upper, although looks and feels similar to its predecessor, has been updated from 5 layers to 6 layers to provide additional comfort and structure. To the touch, these feel smoother but still keep the thickness more or less of the first release. The upper construction on these also offers a little more wiggle room from a width perspective. They're still a speed boot at the end of the day, so they're more narrow than the standard boot, but they have a little more space on the sides. In terms of the sole plate, at face value, there are no real updates here. They kept the multidirectional studs and the Karvo insert, which acts like carbon fiber to give you some snap. The small detail they did change is that the Karvo insert is now slightly thinner, meaning has a little bit less of a snap. What you get in return though is a less rigid sole plate, so it's a decent exchange and it's pretty aggressive regardless. Moving on to the fit. The way these hug your feet is honestly the best in class. When comparing it to the best speed boots in the market, there's just that slight edge that these have for a number of reasons. The shape on these is similar to last year, which for my foot type being more on the narrow side fit great. Despite them being a little more forgiving on the sides, they still give me a really snug fit. The liner, called Zeroglide, was extended from just being in the heel to being inside the entire boot. This texture acts like a grip sock in that it increases the friction between the boot and your feet to reduce slippage inside. This really adds to that locked-in feeling. Then of course is the heel area. This heel really locks your foot into place, and with the combination of Zeroglide and the general shape of the boot, it makes for the best fit in the market in my opinion. Judging by the initial fit and feel, I would say these would probably take about 5 to 6 sessions to break in. If you're looking at trying out a pair for yourself, I would recommend going half a size down. I normally wear a size 8 US, and the ones on my feet now are a size 7.5 US. Now let's review the biggest win and loss of these boots. The biggest win is that Mizuno gave us more of what we had in the first generation, which a lot of people, myself included, were so happy with. Sure, the upper feels a little bit more plasticky this time, but the thickness and the fit is just next level. They clearly thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The biggest loss is the $320 price point, which I will also provide a caveat for in a second. Mizuno is by no means an up-and-coming brand, and they have a ton of respect in the boot space. I mean, they just signed Joao Felix, but it's tough to justify 15 to 20% more cost when the elite models from its competitors are almost as good. Keywords being almost as good. The caveat I was referring to is that Mizuno in recent years has been offering really cheap tiered options so that you can still get something close to the Made in Japan version. The elite version is $180 without the Karvo insert, and they're made in Vietnam. This is almost half the price point of the Made in Japan version, but decently close to the premium quality the MiJ version offers. That's the Mizuno Alpha II Made in Japan for you. I'll leave a few links in the description in case you're interested in buying these. If you have any questions or opinions about these, leave them down below and I'll answer them as they come in. See you on the next one.